Who
One
knows?
more important thing. Can you do another 5 minutes more? This is something you're going to want to see, because talk about killing sacred cows. I'm just going to share the screen again. So a friend of mine, Eugenie, has come across an archive of let's see, where is it? Talk. Here we go. He's producing a video on this now, but I'm just going to give a teaser. So I've said in a number of videos, and I need to eat some crow here, because I lived in Rome for a couple of years. I spent a lot of time walking around these great, what we call Tartarian buildings in this community of this great old architecture, and I know
I call them antique.
Antique, right? Well, when I came across the World's Fair stuff, to me that was a smoking gun for a completely rewritten history. And I looked at the scale of those buildings, and I said it's absolutely impossible that they were made out of wood. A structure that big couldn't support itself with just wood. And if they were to spend the time to make those structures out of wood, why on earth would they burn them down? The amount of wood and the size of the beams and everything required, it was just off the charts. But he's come across an archive with thousands of photos. This is all from St. Louis, all stages of construction. Some of it is steel beam, but a lot of it is wood, and you can see the wooden planks, like here, you can see them lying there. So this is gonna kind of send shockwaves, I think, through the alternative researching community, because what we've seen up to this point, or at least what I've seen, has been loads of buildings with lots of, if you see any scaffolding, there's a bit of ladders laying here and there. A lot of it looks like staged photos, but the stuff, when you look at St. Louis and Chicago, I thought there's no way in hell that's made out of wood and whitewash. But look at this. You've seen this building before, right? This is actual under construction photos. And so Eugenie is putting out a video, I think in the next couple of days. He just started a channel called Retrospect, I don't want to mispronounce it, Retrospectology, like looking at things in retrospect. Retrospectology. It's a new channel. I think he'd be thrilled to have some subs. He's super enthusiastic, great guy. He's got a very syncretic approach to all of this. He's interested in looking at the overlaps, not just ruling things out, because they don't fit with something you believe. And I think it's going to be a great channel. And
what I actually didn't like in all this stuff is that people started to call everything Tartarian, and making up that everything was from the red brick, because what was from red brick, it's still hangs on, because all those buildings that created in this white antique, colonial, whatever style, classical style, they don't exist anymore, and we cannot prove they made from red bricks, right? And if they were made from red bricks, actually, why wouldn't they be still hanging on like the rest of the buildings? So they might as well be wood buildings. Who actually knows? I never made a video about those destroyed expositions, but it looks like after Chicago fire, for example, they could have been destroyed by the fires and all these events that they had in Chicago, because most of the buildings were destroyed. And they also connect this to the raising of the streets. After the fire was done, they needed to, start to creating those sewers and stuff like this. And so they started raising the buildings that were left. And but that doesn't make sense in case of the previous city. So the previous city was created so badly that they had all those sewers also not working at all. So this is also doesn't make sense, because the city was growing, so the people were healthy. So probably if they were healthy, they had good sewer system, right? Good water, and didn't have any shit around, their houses, like they say about this horse crap theory, as the people were creating pavements, and all those pavements raise and raise and raise and raise, and they're supposed to move to the second floor. This is,
Did these
ridiculous.
buildings have bathrooms and kitchens? I wonder if they even ate. Maybe they didn't need to eat back then.
Yeah, there's a question of bathrooms also that comes up to discussion, because people start to say, if they had bathrooms, actually, where did why don't they have them in those huge palaces, like, in France?
Well, if they were giants, there was probably greater air pressure, oxygen concentration, because that causes gigantism in biology. Biology is you increase the pressure. They've done it with tomatoes, and like it grows thousands of tomatoes, and they're big. So maybe they were just absorbing prana. I don't know. Bushwhacking Tartaria is a great channel. They get on the ground and check stuff out. I think you've interviewed him. Also, there's another guy that's really great, Paul Cook. I think I saw him in the chat earlier. Shout out to Paul. He's doing really great stuff. You talked in that video where you mentioned my channel. You were basically, without using the word, you were arguing for a syncretic approach to all of this, where we're trying to see where things mix and overlap. And I really respect that. And I think you hold a very high standard when it comes to what you expect from researchers. And I appreciate that. John Levy, the same week that you came out with that video, basically was saying the exact same thing. So I think this is, in order, if there's going to be any kind of unification, any kind of power as a grassroots community, we have to stop like cutting each other off at the knees and start to cooperate more.